If you are looking at starting your competitive journey in Clash of Clans and winning tournaments, then this video is for you. I have tips from the pro team SpaceStation Gaming, including 2 from myself as well, at the end of the video. Welcome back to the channel then, guys. I'm your host, Judo Sloth. Now, I bring a lot of attack strategy videos, but I thought to myself, there's a lot of tournaments in Clash of Clans. What if someone wants to start out their journey in the competitive scene and even win some of these tournaments? So I got in touch with my friends at SpaceStation Gaming. They gave me a lot of tips, and that's what I want to present to you in this video. Now, SpaceStation Gaming actually won the previous season of the ESL Mobile Open, and it's pretty good timing for this video because one of the first things that you need to know before we get on to the tips is that you've ultimately got to just start getting involved. Talking about the ESL Mobile Open, Season 6 is now upon us, my friends, and I wanted to give you a quick rundown as to what you would do to sign up, because this heavily links with my tips at the end of the video. Now, for the Mobile Open, you do need to reside in North America. There is over $33,000 in prize money, and you sign up via ESL Play. I will actually drop a link down in the description to take you straight to this website where you can do so. However, right now, we have Phase 1, which is ladder play. Now, this is amazing for your entry into eSports tournaments. What ladder play is you challenge an opponent and you can play as much or as little as you want. Obviously, the more active, the more matches you play, the more chance you have of winning and gaining points. At the end of the ladder phase, when we hit September the 5th, the top teams will progress to the closed playoffs. However, if you are wanting to get into esports tournaments, before we get onto the tips, ultimately, you've got to be involved, and ladder play allows you to get a feel for the tournament, the 5 versus 5, that competitive style with very little pressure. If you lose, it really doesn't matter. You can bounce back and you can progress back up that ladder. So just getting involved, especially with this style of tournament, is absolutely brilliant. And ESL Play is actually where you will sign up for a lot of regional Clash of Clans tournaments if you don't reside in North America. It's actually where you can sign up for the World Championships. Obviously, you can qualify through the in-game Clan War Leagues, but that requires 15 people. You need to be in Champion 1. If you have a solid team of just 5 members, you might sign up via ESL Play and win that route into the official qualifiers. So that is pretty much everything you would need to know about getting involved with the tournaments. Now, whilst it is not a tip in itself, it is highly important to just start getting involved, and I thought it was important to show how you would do so. But let's move on to the tips. I wanted to showcase some of my mass super barbarian attacks that we did in the previous video in the background whilst we talk over this. But if you are interested in learning how this strategy works, I will link the video at the end of this one. So the first tip that we received from SpaceStation Gaming was the chemistry of your team of 5. Ultimately, you are going to be playing long hours, putting a lot of practice, training, effort, and competition into the game, and you need to enjoy it as well. If it's too stressful of an environment, it will not last long term, and this is something that you are going to gradually get better with. Trust me, with practice and good practice, you will improve, but you need to be in it for the long haul, so you have to be surrounded with people that you are able to get along with, that you are friends with. And it has a bigger thing with this as well. There is a big trust area within it. So there will be successes, there will be failures. You need to be able to pick each other up. You need somebody else and the rest of your team, ideally, to help you when you potentially are not quite attacking as well. It happens, and you need to be able to do the same for your team members. There needs to be trust, because one thing you need is a team effort. It is not a case of one man trying to show they are better than the rest. It is working as a team in order to get the best results. The second tip that we received by SpaceStation Gaming was having an organized server. Now I really like this one because again the video is not attack strategy focused, it's very much giving you the tips that the pro players use that you can replicate. Now a server could be any external application so long as it has group chat and voice chatting capability. Discord is the most popular and you will have this organized for different reasons. You will have areas where you can discuss offense, discuss defense, maybe an area where you can post base designs, maybe an area where you can post YouTube videos, different sections so you can have it nice and organized to look back on. And also you might have an area where you can just chat with your teammates because again you need to be able to get along with them. The third and fourth tips link into what we were just discussing. So your third tip is voice planning attacks. This is probably the best tip I can give you in this video. If you're asking me, okay, you're giving me a lot of tips here, which one should I start with? This one, voice planning attacks. Some clans will work as a team as they choose who will attack each base, and then when it comes down to attacking the base, they are left as an individual. If you want to get competitive, every single base needs to be discussed as a team. So you would jump on the voice application and you would discuss your plan. You would tell one of your team members, or if you can, all of your team members, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send the Royal Champion in towards the Expos. I'll have an ice golem that will tank for the Royal Champion in order to take that area out and discuss your entire plan, because more people thinking about this will increase your chances of success. Someone might say, well, that archer tower is going to be in range. Have you thought about that? Oh, no, I haven't. Maybe the Teslas are here. Had you thought about that? No, I hadn't. Guess what? If you haven't discussed that with your team, then you would have gone in and potentially made that mistake. And likewise, you will be helping your team as well. The more people you can get planning out an attack, the better chance you have of ultimately getting that 3-star and giving your team the better chance of winning. 2 more tips of the 5 from SpaceStation Gaming before we move on to the 2 from myself. We talked about voice planning. This one is very much an extension of that in terms of voice spotting. Now what spotting is having somebody on voice with you via that application whilst you are attacking. Now this doesn't have to be directly after the planning phase, although if you are having a bit of a break, you probably want to very briefly go over the plan in your head again before you go into the attack. But having somebody on voice watching the live replay on their game means that they can call things out that you might not necessarily see or have thought of, so that you can adjust accordingly. Now many people think this is looking and calling out the hero abilities. Just know that on voice, whenever your team member is watching the live replay, there's a couple of seconds delay in terms of their replay and your live attack. So calling out hero abilities is often not useful, although you might do it if you think somebody is attacking the complete other area of the base. The queen is about to get locked on by a couple of expos. They might call out the ability, the rage spell, something like that. But really what you are having your teammates call out is things that you might not be focused on. Maybe a Tesla pops in the corner of the base. Maybe you are forgetting about time and you know that for a hybrid you want to start the attack at 1 minute 30. Your team member might call that out. Time is ticking, start the hybrid. Send a hog rider in from 10 o'clock. Maybe a Tesla has popped there. That will help with the funnel. It basically means that you can work as a team to adjust the attack, because we all know how important being able to adjust from the plan is in a single attack format. The final tip from SpaceStation was all to do with layouts. Defensive layouts. Do not use common bases, particularly Legend League bases. As you get higher up, your opponents will know how to 3-star that, so you are immediately at a disadvantage. You need to ensure that you have diversity within your team, and that will be people that have different attack strategies, people that have different core skills, and some people that can build bases. If you do not have someone that can build bases, there are actually teams that you can link with, that you can pay actually to build bases. Within my Discord server, I have all of my social media platforms linked in the description. I have teamed up with RH Base Building. Now, you could use them as a service, or they actually give a free exclusive base to my Discord server every single week. So you could get some bases from there, particularly if you are starting out. But as you get higher up, you will have to develop that into your own way of getting bases. Now for my 2 tips. The first one I want to give you is a little bit more motivational, to be honest with you, because you will have upsets. You will have defeats. You will have 1-star attacks, potentially no star attacks, and it happens to the best of us. It is all about how you pick yourself up following that defeat or that failure that will define you. How do you respond? Do you let it get to you negatively, or do you go back to the drawing board, try and improve, work on your skills to get better? Because let me tell you, everyone that is at the top now has gone through this. They have had moments and attacks where it hasn't quite gone right, and you have to be able to continue to drive through that in order to improve. And that can be where your team, having that friendly environment and enjoying the game, can help you with that. It's very much like anything in life. When I used to compete in the sport of judo, I used to do very well, but there were tournaments when I didn't perform well, or I would lose a fight that I really shouldn't have, at no other fault than my own. And it's how you go back to training in order to work harder, to fix them mistakes, to make yourself better at that. It's anything in life, but within Clash of Clans, it's exactly the same. How do you work on the bit that you did wrong? Maybe it was a funneling issue, a planning issue, an execution issue. How do you compartmentalize that to practice that one bit to improve, to then ensure that next time it doesn't happen again? My final tip for you almost pulls everything together, and it is being creative. Think about the attack strategy that I brought you a couple of days ago that I will link you across to the video in a moment, the Mass Super Barbarians. Whenever you are competing, particularly at the top level, if you are copying everybody else, there's always the chance that you could win, but the people that will always be at the top are the innovators. The people that come up with the attack strategies themselves. Whenever there is a balance change or an update to the game, you need to be in friendly challenge, practicing, trying to theorize what could work within an attack, and trying to have that secretly in your back pocket, ready for when it really matters in a tournament. You might even have specific strategies or specific bases for particular teams that you are coming up against, and it really is going to that next level. Being creative will also mean that you can have fun with your teammates, as we discussed. It means that you can enjoy the game. There's so many different aspects, but I really hope that this video has given you a lot of tips and encouraged you to just get involved with the tournaments. Make a start, because if you don't, then you are never going to get there. There's a lot of community leagues that you might use to build your competitive experience and then ensure that you're continually moving forward. If you do want to see the video on the Super Barbarians though, I have it linked right here for you. I'd highly recommend it because that was a great video. I've also got the subscribe button, but I will see you in the next one. Until then guys, take care.